to see myself on camera. And I did that until I executed what I thought to be a good video. And of course, it's not, if I look back now, it's even worse than it is. I mean, it was much worse than it is now. But I think that as roofing contractors, that didn't take very long, but that was very consistent work I did it for almost a month because I knew that we had a meeting the next month. And so I was like, I'm going to work on these videos for the entire month so that when Jesse gets here, it'll be a lot better than it was last year. And I think that's a thing that it gets lost in a lot of roofing contractors, that this is just like somebody shows up with all their expensive equipment and just makes things happen. And I think where you bring value for me in a massive way is that you're able to, I did put some work in, but you also help me understand like the micro expressions, where to put my hands, how to be more comfortable. And it still takes time. Each time we meet, it's still, I'm not immediately comfortable. Um, but I think that like this is a really important thing that we can all do. Find someone like Jesse who can actually help you break you out of your shell. And you know how you are with the people that you know well. You know how you are with your crew, you know how you are with your spouse, your kids, you know how you are. Then can you find someone to help you to be comfortable with, to on camera be as close to that person as you can possibly be, so that people can see it. If you like movies or TV or anything, you can see when there's good actors. They know how to play a character. Well, you're playing your authentic self on camera. So you need to tell people, hey, I care about your roof. I care about these warranties. I care about these things about how I clean up your home. You need to be able to do that on camera. It has really helped us having these little like 30-second, 60-second, 45-second videos, put them in the automations with Proline, because people are like, I saw your video. We just sold a roof last week. The guy's like, oh, I can be, I mean, he's literally joking to Kathleen, I can be famous like John. It's like, because he's watched all of my videos. And the only reason people are going to watch videos, people are not going to accept a stock video anymore. It has to be you. You can't be just sitting behind a desk like, hi, you can't do that. It's not going to happen. They need something that is, I know authentic is overly used, but like being real, being authentic, all those things are real. That's a true thing. People or humans understand what a real video is. And I think that you do a really good job of bringing that out.
Well, thank you. And like you kind of to touch on that, most people aren't naturally gifted and like great on camera. Even like, differentiating from public speakers, some public speakers don't really like being on camera and vice versa. But being able to uh, develop a level of comfort with being on camera, and I do enjoy that process, because because I'm not working with actors all the time, when we do TV spots and shoots like that, yeah, we'll hire professional actors to read scripts and all those things and play a role per se. But most of the time, the clients, they're the business owners or a team member is going to be on camera. And so I'm used to working with it, and I enjoy that process of getting them comfortable and helping them. It's like, look, if you do this, if you do that, think about this. Just simple things of like how you stand and what to do with your hands. They're all easy things to learn, but to your point, what is so critical, I think, for especially small, medium-sized businesses is to personify that brand, to personify that logo. It's like, hey, there's real people. There's a real person who's investing their energy, time, and effort into their company and to grow their business. And I can see them. I can get to know them to a little degree, versus an actor or somebody like that. You want to buy from, most people want to buy from small business, and that's what the vast majority of roofers is a small, medium-sized business, and getting to know that owner, that salesperson, that manager, it makes a big difference. Like you kind of like, I kind of know this person. Um, and I think of this commercial that I have a client that is they're in the design world, furniture world. And Johnny, were you in Atlanta the whole time? You from Atlanta?
AJ?
Oh, yeah, I've been in Atlanta. I was in Athens, went to UGA, and
Yeah.
then I moved to. Well, I'm from Atlanta originally, and then I moved back to Atlanta. I want to say it was 2018, 2019. So about the same time that you went into freelancing, I jumped back to Atlanta.
Well, there's this commercial, and John, you might be old enough to remember if you're from Atlanta, but there was this furniture gallery furniture. It was like Ask the Wolfman, and you had a Wolfman and Donna, and they were like the owners of the
Yeah.
store, and it was silly, cheesy commercials, but that was kind of like one of those commercials that people like, hey, I'm Gallery Furniture is a store, it's a brand, but come ask Donna, ask for the Wolfman. But that was
Yep.
all their commercials. And even to this day, people were like, from Atlanta, like nobody forgets Ask the Wolfman. And I mean, that those commercials are 40 years old, 30, 40 years old. So just going back to personifying a brand, a company, and seeing a person that has
Yeah.
poured themselves into that business
Yep.
is effective.
Yeah, I think this is a really, really interesting and I think powerful point. Like you're saying, people want to buy from small business.
Yeah.
And because of that, you as a small business, it's important for you to provide a small business experience. That doesn't mean a bad experience, but it means
Yeah.
a great experience that's unique and personal and has that human connection. And we see this all the time with companies that are using Proline or small businesses in general. But I see this with a lot of our clients where it's usually the ones that are just getting started. They think that they need to project an image of being this massive company. And I when I see that, I was like, hey, I get that. I get why you're feeling that you need to do that because they want things like, all generic emails and all generic phone numbers, and they want everything to be this like white wall between them and the customer. And I'm like, I understand why you would think that's necessary because you're seeing massive companies that have that, but that's not a benefit to the customer, and that's not going to help you sell. That the only reason these big companies look like that is because that's the only way to run a big company like that. It's too big to be able to have the personal connection. It's
Right.
not that that's the right way to run a business. It's actually massively detrimental. If there was a way for those massive companies to have that personal connection still at scale, they would, because it's so valuable and leads to so much uh, more sales than you otherwise would. So I think that's a really great point that you're making, is like, as a small business, and I think we need to make sure we define small business correctly. I would consider any local business that's probably less than, I don't know, what would you say, John? 50 million, 30
I mean,
million,
the SBA says less than 50 million.
50
But
million. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like
but
we're using a very broad, like,
Yeah.
small
That's a
business definition here. I
yeah.
think you should be leaning into providing that small business experience, not trying to get away from it.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, that is a pretty wide range from 1 million or 50 million